Hey guys, welcome to this episode where we are going to talk about what to focus on when you're launching your fashion brand. So please forgive the backdrop over here. The office is going through a lot, but I wanted to get this information out there. So here I am, just focus on the tips, okay? This is for fashion entrepreneurs who have decided, okay, I'm going to launch my brand. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to move forward with it, and also for the fashion entrepreneurs who have been at it for a while and things are not working. Okay. This is what I share with all the fashion entrepreneurs that work with me when they feel stuck and also when they're starting out, like I mentioned. So, a lot of people they tend to focus on the fun part of the business, which is the creative part, which is mostly where their talent lies. Maybe you're a great designer, maybe you want to, you want to sew all day, or maybe you provide this amazing service. Maybe you're a stylist like myself who knows how to improve someone's life through their wardrobes, right? And you focus on that, and which is your craft, right? And you get better at it because you do it all the time, right? And you're learning and you're passionate about it. But what happens is that we are building a business around this passion of ours, and there's things that need to happen that need to be in place for this to be sustainable. And that's what I'm going to focus on here today, because for those of you who just want to get started, right? You tend to do this. You go and create the product or put together the service, and then you get to that point where you launch it and you start telling people about it, and then you don't make enough sales, or you don't make sales at all, and you feel frustrated. And then all that time that went by, right? It just makes you feel very low, and perhaps you want the money, you need the money, right? You need this to be sustainable, like I said. So it's hard, right? So I want to prevent you that pain, and I want to let you know in advance, so as you decided, okay, I'm going to have my brand, right? Start working on these things along the way, so by the time that you get there, the ball starts rolling, right? And the money starts coming in, and you're more in that path, right? That feels more, maybe lighter, maybe more fulfilling, right? Because it's not about the money, but for us to continue doing it, we need to have the money come in, and we need to have these systems in place. And if you have been doing this, like I said, for a while and it's not working in that way, you need the money even more, right? You need those foundations even more, because you're like, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to continue doing this thing? So we're going to focus today on three things. Okay. And the first thing, I have my list here, is that I want you to build an audience as you do this process. Okay. So a lot of you think, okay, by the time that I launch my brand, then I'll start doing social media and I start putting myself out there. No, start now. Okay. Even if you don't know exactly what the product is going to be about, or maybe your service, you're going to improve it and change some things or learn something and probably pivot, it doesn't matter. You can start building that audience of people who might be interested in this product or service that you are creating. Okay, so you can start telling people about it, maybe on social media, right? Or maybe you start a blog, or maybe you start a podcast, and you just start talking about it. What they say, you record the journey there. Okay, that's what you're going to do. You're going to document the journey there. You're going to start telling people about it. And the beauty about this thing is that because you tell people about it, it's not salesy. Okay, it doesn't sound like you're just selling this thing. You're just inviting people, right, to go with you on this journey. So if you're telling them like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I've decided to design it this way because I was inspired by this, da 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 da, and I really care about the materials that I'm using. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work with this company, and you start telling people about all these important things that are gonna become your brand, right? And don't be scared that maybe at the end of this process, the product ends up being different, or you decide to go with one of the products and not three of them, or you decide to change things around. It doesn't matter, right? You're building, okay, with these people, a community, a relationship, right? And those people, right, because they go through this process with you, you have been so kind, right? So transparent, so authentic to share this thing with them. It's going to be easier for them to make a purchase, right? That maybe you came out of nowhere and you created this beautiful product and you put it out there, and now you expect people just to buy it just because, right? It's different. It's a different thing, especially if you really align with the values that this person, this brand that you're creating, have, right? If I'm a person who feels identified with you because maybe, I don't know, the way that you work, or maybe the things that you like, or the things that you share, or maybe the values that you have in your business, right? I'm going to be more, I want to support you. I want to be part of your world. And there's so many things happening. So bottom line, start documenting this journey. Okay, start building this audience. Don't wait till the end. Start doing it now. Okay, talk about the process. Tell people about it. Right. Start. And also, if you are already watching this and you're like, I already launched my brand, I already done a lot of stuff, but I really don't do this consistently. Well, what's better than today? You can start today, and you can start building that audience today. Okay, it is never too late. Okay, so just start talking about the process, start talking about your materials and then your inspiration and everything, and start building that audience. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is you have to set up a system, okay, where you can capture leads and start, further developing this relationship with people. Okay, so when you go on social media and tell people about it, or maybe you go to an event and tell people about it, maybe you go to a family affair and you tell people about it, right? Is there a system set in place where you can capture their information, their email, their phone number, right? Something where you can stay in touch, where you can still develop that relationship. So if, for example, you're doing YouTube videos covering your process, maybe you can send them the YouTube video notifications, right? So they stay in touch and continue to watch this with you, with their permission, of course, always with their permission. And then that's another topic, right, that we have to cover. But just to explain it here, you cannot just grab these people's information and add it to a list and start sending them stuff. No, they have to say, yes, I want you to send me this information, right, and provide this information to you, and then you can do that. Because we all know people who send us stuff that we didn't ask for, and what we do, we delete it, right? And you don't want to be in that situation. Plus, it's not legal. So going back to this system, you have to set up a system, okay? And this is something that I focus inside my membership. If you need help with this, right, or ask me any questions below, I'll be happy to guide you through the process, right? But this is something that we really focus on inside the membership, because of course it's not something that I can just come here and explain everything on all the details and where to go and all of that stuff. But I can give you a general idea to guide you in the right direction, right? So you have to have a system in place, right, where you can capture this information. So if people want to stay in touch with you and join you through this process, maybe you have a blog, right, and people can subscribe to the blog, and then that way they stay in touch with you. Or maybe you have your Instagram page, right, and you continuously post updates and things like that, and you tell them, hey, if you want to, for me to let you know when I launch my brand, or maybe you want to take advantage of this big sale I'm going to do when I launch my brand, or you want to stay up to date with my videos that I create, right? You can sign up here, and then you can invite them to a list where you can offer them that coupon or those updates about your videos, or whatever it may be that you're offering them, right? So number two, make sure that you have a system, okay, where you can capture that information and you can start developing even more that relationship with them, okay? And then the third and final thing is to get really good at nurturing that relationship and asking for the sale, okay? You have to, start being consistent about it, start taking it seriously. It's not, I'm going to post whenever, whatever. I'm just going to create this blog post whenever, whatever. No, you're building a business, right? You're setting a foundation. You have to show up professionally. You have to start, you know, people, have to see you as the CEO of this company, right? And you know give that to people by showing up, by being consistent, and continue to do the work that you need to do. Okay, and you have to get really good at it. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I believe in, being flexible and taking care of yourself, and not, overworking and all of those things. Okay, because I've gone through all of them, right? Through this process, it's been a long process, and I've had to learn of, I cannot work, all these hours without taking care of myself, or I cannot, do this just when the inspiration strikes me. Like, I've gone through all of these different processes, and have dealt with this with the people that I help, right? And it all comes to, okay, you have to show up. You have to show up, you have to be consistent, and you have to take this seriously, because this is your business and this is your passion, right? So start getting really good at showing up consistently, at creating this content consistently, or sharing with your audience consistently, and learning how to ask for the sale. A lot of people don't get the sales because they don't ask for it. They don't ask for it enough. They never have a sale. They never tell people consistently. They never have a system. You have to start thinking about, okay, what does my promotions calendar look like? Am I gonna have a set promotion every month? Am I gonna send emails every Friday? Am I going to do a sale every so often? And when is that gonna happen? Like, you have to start thinking about that. And if you don't know, right, then start learning about it, right? And follow people who are talking about this. You're super welcome to follow over here, and because I'm always creating content around these topics. And like I said, we always cover these things inside the membership. So if you need guidance in there, just get the guidance, and it doesn't have to be, there's levels for everything, right? You can start with someone, and then move to someone else, or maybe you can, you know follow different communities, different approaches, different people who offer different ways, and you can combine them and make them your own. What I share here, it's a result of my journey and the journey of the people that I have worked with, that I have helped throughout this process, right? We take the nuggets, of the golden nuggets of what has been successful, and share them with you, so then you don't have to go to as many bad things or failures, or whatever you call them, which I don't even believe in that, because you always learn from them. But don't go through so many of these issues, right? So you can go get closer to that, those results that you want faster, right? That's what we're all doing here on YouTube, on podcasts, on blogs, right? We're sharing what we have learned. Some don't do it ethically, some do, right? There's everything out there, but we're trying to, share this information with you, so you can have the tools to get to the results that you want. So this is what we do. And not any of us, we're just sharing our experiences and what has worked for us. And I truly respect in people's intuition. I respect people's intuition, people's own processes. I always tell my audience, follow your gut. I am telling you this information. How does that feel inside? Does that feel like, yeah, I can do this? Or yeah, I really connect with what she's saying, but I think for this thing I have to change this, right? And then just dig into it, right? Dig into it and start doing it. So to summarize, right, you have to focus on these three things. The first thing, you have to start building your audience right away. Start showing up, start talking to people, right? Start telling people what you're doing, okay? Whether you're starting out or you've been doing it for a while, right? You had your business for a while, but it's really not working. You have to build that audience, okay? Then the second thing is, have a system in place where you can capture their information with their permission, right? So you can start developing that relationship with them even more, Okay. And number three, you have to get really good at developing that relationship with them and asking for the sale, learning, how you're going to ask, how you're going to do it, what's the process going to be like, when are you going to have the sales, etc., etc., etc. So I want to ask you, right, wherever you are right now, whether you're just starting out or you're about to start or you're further along the way, right? Where do you need help? In these three areas, where do you need help? Where are you doing these three things? Are you not doing them? Can you improve them? Do you need help or more information to get better at one of them? Let me know, because I can create more episodes about this. I would be super happy to answer your questions and create more content around this. I do have a new guide that we created that is called the Fashion Brand Launching Plan Checklist. It's a free guide that you can download. It's 2 pages and it just gives you all the steps to launch a fashion brand. And it covers a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about here. It's simple, to the point, and it's a great guide to follow along. Especially if you're like, I don't know, and in which order and all of that. I'm going to leave a link below for you. The other thing is we do have the membership, the Fashion Business Incubator membership. It's a monthly fee that I think it's very inexpensive. And right now, when you're watching this video, you might find a great sale on it. So, it's a place where we focus on these things in a big scale every week. And I create content around this, and you can ask me questions and send me emails. And I do Zoom calls also, so we can get deeper into this and do it more personalized. So yeah, I'm going to leave a link below for the membership as well. What I want out of this is that you really get clear or on what do you need to do to keep going right in the right direction and to be able to get the results that you want. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you need any resources. I'm going to leave the links below, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Okay, bye guys.